Hello, welcome to Loot Level Chat, the podcast from Loot Level Chill. I'm your host, Mick Fraser, and I'm joined tonight by Steve Chambers.
Howdy.
Lyle Pendle.
Hi.
And special guest star, Chris White.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Hello, Chris. How are you,
Hello.
mate? It's the first time you've been on the new generation of Loot Level Chat.
First time I've been on, Now I'm glad to be here.
This is like the later on seasons of a TV show where everyone complains about it being worse, but
yes,
we like it.
We keep it going regardless.
It's a steady decline. It hasn't dropped off a cliff. It's a steady decline.
Yeah.
So you can really enjoy the downfall.
Yeah, but we're back. We're here again this week. We've got some games to talk about again. We haven't got Kieran. This is the first time he's missed it. But he was here. He had to run to the toilet. I don't know if he's going to be back or not. We'll see.
We'll find out.
Maybe he'll even turn up for the bonus pod for the.
Maybe
that'd
be nice.
That'd be a treat, wouldn't it?
That'd be a nice treat for the people who pay us. So yeah, we've got some games to talk about this week. I'm going to start. I just want to mention a game before we get into like the big stuff. I want to mention a game that I've been playing the demo of, called Replaced. Have you guys seen the trailers for this at all?
Yeah, I remember the trailer ages ago.
Yeah. There was an announcement trailer was a while back, and then they did like a release date trailer because it's out on the 12th of March. So they did a release date trailer a while ago, which I fell in love with. So sometimes when you see a trailer, you just watch the trailer and you just watch it, and like because it's got a fantastic bit of music in the trailer. And it's really, really atmospheric and really cool. So I watched the trailer over and over again. And then we got a code for the demo, which is available now on Steam. So we got a code for the demo, and I was fucking so hyped to try it. And the demo was 17 minutes long, give or take. So I was like, I was like, this is like, it's really, really good. And then the demo is really short, like it's so short. And they got like updated it. In the early access, they updated the demo, and I was like, maybe they've added something because it was like a gig or so like update. I put it on, and all they'd done was added like tutorial pop-ups, and like they'd extended, like it ends with like a boss fight where you just shoot him and he dies, and they just extended it so you have to fight him a little bit. So I don't know, I still don't know what's going to be in the main game, but it's like Cyberpunk. But it's set in the 80s, so it's like
it looks very Mick coded as far as I can tell.
I tell you what, I played the demo, and I never do this, and I played the demo 5 times. So there's a.
I was going to ask how many times you've rinsed through it.
There's a full playthrough on our YouTube channel because with no commentary. I just one of the times I played it, I just recorded the demo, and I chucked it on the YouTube channel so people can see it because I'm really hyped about it, and I don't get that hyped about games that much anymore to the point where I want people to play them. But this is like, it's indie technically. It's Sad Cat Studios, and I think it's published by Thunderful. So it's not 100% indie, but it kind of is. I think Thunderful are still classed as a small scale publisher. Yeah. But it's like it's a cyberpunk game, I guess. But it's set in the 80s, so it's got like this really cool retro futuristic thing. But it's like
Blade Runner by the looks of it.
Yeah, kind of. But it's like really because it's like there's AI in it already, and like your character is like a guy who is in an accident in a lab, and your partner dies. It tells you all this at the beginning. There's no spoilers. It's literally the first thing it says. Your partner dies, and the AI kind of ends up in you. So your character's name is Warren, then you've got this AI inside you called Reach, which is like guiding you through like the game, I guess. And it's like I know the demo is from the beginning of the game, but I kind of feel like the demo might have been made just to be a demo because it tells you straight away that it gives you the gun, but it tells you that you don't get the gun till later in the full game.
So just give you an early taste of what's to come.
And I know why it does, because the platforming stuff is just that. It's just platform. It's a little bit like the old Flashback, where it's just like run to the right, move some crates, hide from a searchlight, that sort of stuff. It's really atmospheric, really very cool.
I take it's not screen by screen in that style. It's more fluid.
Yeah, it's fluid. The pixel art is gorgeous, like serious, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But it gives you the gun because it wants you to try the combat, because the combat is the closest thing to Arkham City on a 2D plane
Sold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really cool combat. Like, it's very straightforward. You've got like a normal attack where you just sort of hit them with the gun, but hitting with the gun, if you hit the enemy with the gun, it charges it kinetically, so you get around. So you have to hit them several times. That charge, and then the gun is a one-shot kill. So you beat them with the gun, you get your one-shot kill, and then when they come in, they either do a red attack or a yellow attack. The yellow attack, you press Y, and you do like a really flourishy like block and knock them down and like a takedown. Yeah. But if you press the right trigger when they're close enough, you do like a really cool execution, where like you'll beat them and they'll like double over, and then you'll roll over their back and throw the gun and catch it and shoot. It's like just cool. It's the coolest shit, right? There's absolutely no need for it to be as cool as it is. It's just that. It's just it's like that demo is just 17 minutes of just moody, Blade Runner-y, just really satisfying reactive combat. Really impressive. I really like it. So
is it giving you enough neon lights in puddles for your liking?
Yeah, it's got that. Not quite, because it's sort of in the sticks outside the city, but I've seen the screenshots in the trailer and all that's coming. There's like stuff on
puddles
top of
coming.
Yeah, the puddles are coming. There's stuff on top of like a moving train and shit. It's really cool and really atmospheric. But it's the demo's there on Steam, and it's literally 17 minutes of your time. So I would advise anybody who's into that kind of sort of that cyberpunk aesthetic, that noir sort of moody, grimy sort of cyberpunky look, just check it out, because it's well worth it.
Does it give you much more outside of combat in terms of maybe like puzzle elements or anything like that, or platforming heavy or anything?
It's not platforming heavy. There's some mild stuff. So it's jumping and climbing basically, and swinging. It's got that sort of stuff. Like you swing on signposts, and it's got like little crate moving puzzles. There's like a tiny little thing in it where you have to pick up a battery and put it in the machine to turn a computer on, but the battery is like next to the machine. So presumably in the main game, this is like there's going to be more of this and spread out.
Apart, yeah.
And then it's got.
I'm just wondering what they've got to sort of break up the combat.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be mainly stealth and combat, and then these little environmental puzzles. I can't imagine it's going to run to more than sort of 8 to 10 hours. It doesn't feel like there's any reason why it would. But yeah, it's just really cool. So I wanted to give it a mention, because it's only a demo, so I don't know anything else about the game really beyond what I've seen in trailers and this. But it's worth having a look at.
Yeah, it sounds deserving a bit more attention. So
yeah, so that's Replaced. Check it out if you like that sort of thing. If you like cyberpunky, if you like 2D action games. You don't get many 2D action games anymore. Like, when it's not just a straightforward, like, because I've just reviewed Blaze Blue Entropy Effect, which is like a 2D roguelike, which is really, really fucking good. Like, that's superb. But it's like a roguelike. It's got all these elements. You don't just get something that's, because they did like the Flashback sequel. Was it last year or like the year before?
God, yeah.
And it was
it was a downgrade, did it?
Atrocious. It was one of the worst things I've ever played. It was so bad, and I was so gutted, because Flashback is like one of my all-time like memory games. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's a core memory for a lot of people, I think.
And absolutely brilliant. And I've been waiting for something, and this feels a lot like that. I guess it's got that same kind of.
It's kind of sad that Flashback like got the sequel to revive a dying genre and then put the final nail in its coffin. Sadly,
yeah, I was gutted to be honest. But anyway, so yeah, that's Replaced.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good.
But what have you guys been up to? You guys have been playing, and I've been playing this a little bit as well, so I can chip in with some stuff. But I've only played like an hour or two, because you guys have been playing Romeo is a Dead Man.
We have, I think, most of us,
which is the new joint from Suda
51 Grasshopper.
Grasshopper manufacturer. Yeah.
So
Have
it, Lyle, should take the floor with this one.
Tell us all about it.
We'll bounce back and forth, I'm sure.
Let's do it, organically.
It'll be so organic. We've said it now, so
it feels it so far.
Yeah. So Romeo is a Dead Man is, like all Suda games, kind of a bit wild and nonsensical in all the fun sort of stupid actiony ways. You play as Romeo Stargazer, because of course you do. And he has a girlfriend called Juliet, because of course he does. And then almost immediately he is killed by like a alien demon thing and revived with magic science injection from your granddad, who's just Doc Brown from Back to the Future,
Who's attached to your jacket.
Yeah, he then is attached to your jacket as a patch on the back, obviously, because why would he not be? Why would that not be where he resided, as a patch on a jacket? And you turn into like a cool badass cyborg with like sort of like beam swordy type weapons and all that sort of thing, and are recruited by the space FBI to stop the world from being torn apart.
They're literally called like the space FBI, aren't they?
I think
Yeah.
they are
It's
called
like-
that, yeah.
Absolutely,
That's pretty
just
much it,
genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an average everyman story then, really. We can all relate
Yeah,
to it.
it's standard usual story. Yeah, just sort of a bit Shakespearean, as
Nice.
implied, you know. Yeah, so that's the game. I could try and talk more about the story, but I'd either get it wrong or just be too confused to really work out what I'm saying.
I feel like Suda 5-1 games should come with like, you know, you can get DVD commentary. It should be that, but him and his therapist just discussing
Fucking hell, yeah.
like whatever the fuck it
I
was.
think that'd
that
make it
inspired-
worse. It's
Maybe
so-
actually, maybe.
It's so crazy because it's not even like you just go through the levels, is it? You go through a level, then the screen explodes, you restart the game, you come back in, you enter this pixel spaceship.
Yeah.
Just some
Oh, there's also
cooking.
end
Yeah.
credits between each
Yeah.
chapter.
Oh,
You
like a
don't make,
TV
like-
show style.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like really disjointed and weird.
Yeah.
you
no,
make Natsu curry, you grow zombies,
you grow zombies in your garden. Yeah.
Oh shit!
and then there's
see-
like tons of mini games. Like it's insane. But
It is.
before you carry on, it's very much feels like I don't want to say that they're trying at least because I'm not saying Suda 51's a bad developer at all. But when you look at the previous games, they don't feel like as complete and as there's just something different about this. It feels more mature, I guess, in terms of
Yeah,
its
it's-
development, not its story, because it's
Yeah, because that didn't sound it at all.
No.
I don't necessarily think Suda's that bad a designer like his games are usually quite fun. Like Grasshopper Manufacturer's got like a list of games that because they did those like Lollipop Chainsaw and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Which and what's the Shadow of the Damned? You know, the like
Boner game.
big boner game. Yeah, these are like
Yeah.
I actually think what he produces design wise have always been pretty good. Like I've like because it's like Killer is Dead. That was him as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all
thinking more like
just
Deadly
insane.
Premonition 1 and 2. The Good Life, it wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't.
That's
Oh,
sweary.
that's sweary, isn't it?
Yeah, that's sweary, not Suda.
Oh yeah,
Very easy to mix them up though. 'cause
They're
both-
basically
both
sort of the
batshit
same.
Crazy
but-
Japanese developers. Yeah.
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 One's more likely to have penis like based gameplay in some way, but otherwise,
Yeah. One of them can
Sort of
design
going away.
games, and the other one
throws
just
penises around.
basically just creates weird stream of consciousness shit that takes 20 hours to get through.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, because I've played a bit of Romeo's Dead Man. Romeo is a dead man, should I say? It's not like I don't. I'm not a big fan of like silly necessarily. Like it's a bit over the top for me, and like I like a story. I don't mind comedy, but I also like a story that my brain can pass from one beat to the next. Like exactly, and so like
You're not into fever dreams then, Mick, no?
not really. And Adam was telling me how good it is, and so I played the first I played up until you get to the pixel art hub. You know, where the hub changes to like an isometric pixel art. And that's which I thought was really clever. Because why design a really intricate hub that takes up all these resources when you can do exactly the same?
No point.
You know, so I thought that was quite clever. And plus, it was unexpected, and it's just weird enough to be, you know, Suda. So I
Can
played.
I ask, what the hell is the gameplay? Because I have no idea from what
So
you
it's a
just told me.
third-person action game. It's basically a third-person hack and slash, and you've got like there's like a ranged weapon. You've got combos,
Right, okay.
and like the first mission or two, I think you're basically just killing zombie guys, and like they take a serious pasting. And then like you've got flashy finishing moves and things like that, and then then your ex-girlfriend turns into a giant mutated blob monster and you chainsaw her to death.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
You get like, because it's something, isn't it? It's so, stop me if I'm wrong. From what I could tell from the limited amount I played, it's kind of like everything everywhere all at once kind of situation. There's all these multiple realities, and your girlfriend seems to be a constant, but she's bad.
It frames itself like that's sort of what's going to happen, and then later chapters you just fight like generic different bad guy bosses.
Oh.
So not I was also expecting basically every mission to be you fight Juliet, but she is some
I
sort
thought
of
that was the
other
purpose
nonsense
of it. Your
Yeah,
Romeo and your pursuit of Juliet is not. It's a love story, but also
she does appear more, but not all the time. And I was sort of expecting all the time because, like, there's literally an introductory cutscene where it's like, in this reality, before you started playing, she was a witch, and in this one, and
and it was really cool. I was like, oh, we're gonna. I assumed that was what the game was going to be because it shows you all these cool versions of Juliet.
And it's not that, but you're also taking down like time criminals who've like been doing organ harvesting across dimensions and stuff like that, obviously. You know, that sort of thing.
Is this a Rick and Morty?
You are the space FBI as well at the end of the day. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's the top 10 most wanted.
You do space FBI shit all the time. Yeah.
So you've got to be doing that. And like, I think it maintains being varied forever. I'll say that it doesn't necessarily rest on its laurels of what you were expecting with the character action. Like sometimes there's one chapter where it's like in a spooky asylum and section you don't have combat. They just take your weapons away and you're stealthing away from a giant mutant monster and stuff like that. So it's like it changes things up pretty well. The other thing you do in this stage is there are like patients with their brains exposed and you have to poke them with needles to make them make the right expression to open a door. And like
lobotomy style.
Yeah, lobotomy style, but just like really weird nonsense that's always happening. There's another world where you have to like clean out poo from a big vat. And just everything, it changes dramatically as you play, but the combat sort of doesn't evolve that much, really. Like from the mission you played, Mick, to like the end credits, like you can change like there are 4 different guns and 4 different melee weapons to
unlock them really quick though, don't you? Like
you do. And they're all sort of the same, really. Like the guns, like one of them's a pistol, one of them's a shotgun type thing. So you know you'll be able to pick which one you like most pretty quickly based on any shooting game you have ever played, and then you just level that one up. And then the melee weapons are like, so you start with the sword, or you can, like, I use the fists because I kind of usually like fist weapons. That sounds weird. But I like fisting, everybody. And
I'm not
like,
shocked.
it didn't feel massively different to when I was using the sword, but it was just the one I chose to level up.
Yeah.
How did you find the responsiveness of the dodging in combat? Because I had a real kind of issue with there's certain games, Platinum, for example, their responsiveness and fluidity of controls is perfect. Like you can basically craft the perfect fight sequence. I find that it lacks a little bit, where especially when you've got a lot of them on you at one time, or you've got the boss who's like, if you're in mid combo and then they attack you, the dodging, it's not quite as responsive. I don't know if that was just me or whether you found
No, I'm totally with you there. I think that it isn't sort of, it didn't feel like it was a game where it had that quick reaction side of it, and it's kind of, it does feel like you kind of need that sometimes.
So it's not like DMC responsive or anything like that. It's very much a bit more.
No, and it's also not like DMC or anything like combo like heavy or anything like that. You've basically got a heavy attack and a light attack, and there's not really much else you do other than switch.
A bit more broader style then, rather than
And it's like because I was playing it while I was also playing Neo 3, which just I couldn't get
there's a combination of things.
But because Neo 3 is so fluid and so varied and so fucking coherent, like I struggled going from that to playing Romeo as a dead man, and then I know Adam was really enjoying it, and he was like, "Oh, this is fantastic. This is really," and I was like, I can see like it's fun when I was playing it, I was like, yeah, I get it. This is fun. Like it's got something, and I know everybody says it. I say it's a bit of a cliche now, but people don't make games to have fun anymore. Yeah, they do. That's what all games are. They're all intended to.
Surely that's everyone's aim, yeah.
Yeah, but I do get the point of it. Like this does feel more like a game where someone because that's what Suda kind of does. He just literally makes he's an auteur. He makes the game that he wants to play, and then he gives it to you, which is great. That's what an auteur should do. Otherwise, why bother? Why be an auteur? Why get to that level and maintain that sort of grip, that creative control if you're not going to do that? So I get it, and it is kind of fun and it is kind of silly and it is off the wall. But like an hour into it, I was just like, I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, I don't know what are you saying to me? It's just gobbledygook. And then, because I was chopping back and forth between sort of this and Neo 3, I was just like, this is a bad game for me to play while I'm trying to get a rhythm in what is essentially a Souls-like. I need to get that. You need to nail that rhythm of Neo 3. That's all I need to be playing now, action-wise. And this was just a bit too clunky and a bit too bizarre to sort of hold my interest. And I haven't been back to it. And that's quite telling that it's sort of sat on my desktop and I'm just like, probably not going to go back.
I mean, especially for you, who has already said that silly isn't really what you go for as well. Like, if you don't have that driving you, the combat's not going to be like what makes you think, oh, I need to play this to the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fun enough. It didn't necessarily outstay its welcome or anything, because it's not a particularly long game. It's maybe 10 hours ish, something like that. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's not one of my favorite Suda games, but it's not one of my least favorite Suda games. It's somewhere right in the middle of I'm glad I played this. I think it does, sort of Chris was mentioning earlier, it sort of does feel a bit more fleshed out than a lot of his games. Like, when you think about a Lollipop Chainsaw or a Shadows of the Damned, it's you'll have one sort of tree you'll upgrade maybe, and it'll just be in a pause menu or something, whereas this has the whole hub area, all that the growing of the zombies, which sort of serve as these sub weapons, means that you've got kind of a bit to mess around with, because for ages you can also fuse the zombies, so you can make one stronger.
You should say what they actually are called in the game.
Oh yeah, they're called bastards. Why have we not said that they're called bastards?
Because I forgot, and you just reminded me. Yes, they're just called bastards. So you breed bastards.
Called bastards.
So the breeding bastards minigame then, yeah?
When you use them, they're like, what do they say? Because there's like a voiceover, and they're like, bastards are ready. The bastards are ready.
Yeah.
It sounds like a hell of a mishmash of genres going on here.
It's a Suda game. That's what he does.
Why would I expect any different?
Yeah, it's like we said, you've got, and we'll talk about it more later, obviously, but it is that it's willfully weird. It's deliberately, it's knowingly mental, and it's what he does. And he just happens, I think, generally speaking, he has more hits than misses in terms of design and gameplay and that sort of thing. I think Suda 5.1 does get it right. Like Shadows of the Damned that we've mentioned and Lollipop Chainsaw stuff, they were fun games. I think was it Lollipop Chainsaw that was kind of, was it unfinished, or it just sort of,
I can't remember if it was.
I might be wrong.
I definitely played it through. I remember that game changed a lot. It's there'd be random 2D sections and stuff like that. There was always something weird going on there too. But again, why would we expect any different? But I do think all of his games in general ooze a lot of style, and I don't think this is any different. I love the visual aesthetic in this is great. I think it's got a banging soundtrack when it kicks in. There's a I'm a Dead Man theme that plays pretty regularly, and it's it hits every time. It doesn't leave my head ever. And yeah, it's got a lot of the things it's got going for it are style and weirdness, and the combat's good enough to see you through,
Yeah, style and
voice cast is really good as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of names, not like Matthew Mercer and your Laura Bailey's, but the names are some big names kind of attached for what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And it holds the way they present the story more so in the hub area with the the back and forth. They're not your character eye context, the way they interact and stuff is really cool.
It's quite fun. It is quite fun. I don't know whether it's I can't recommend it. Like, it's not one of those things that I could say to you, everybody go and play this. But you already will know if you're a Suda fan. Like, he's been around long enough.
It sounds like it's playing to his crowd for sure.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like anybody that's coming into this game blind and has never played a Suda game is probably going to be sitting there thinking, what the fuck's going on? And it's going to go one of two ways. But I think if you're already an established Suda fan, you know what you're getting. You know what you're coming to the game for. So, in fact, you probably don't even need us to recommend it. If you're a Suda fan,
it's too late.
You've already balls deep in this. So, yeah, that's Romeo is a Dead Man. But one weird game to another weird game. Well, I say weird because it looks weird, and I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot about it, but it's Reanimal. This is from the Little Nightmares guys.
It is from Cartier Studios, who were responsible for the first two Little Nightmares.
First two, they farmed 3 out to make this, didn't they? Basically,
yeah. I mean, if you've had any knowledge or played through anything with the Little Nightmares series, you know exactly what to expect here, because this is, to all intents and purposes at this point, Little Nightmares 4, as far as it goes.
I know gameplay, it looks very similar. Like, I've seen the trailers and I've seen I passed on playing it because I'm not a big fan. I'm a big fan of the lore of Little Nightmares, which is never finished. I like the world is creepy.
Yeah, they do that so well, and they've continued to do that here with not a lot being explained for quite a while, and you're getting a little bit of environmental detail, so you're sort of piecing things together for yourself as you go along, but nothing is explicit. Even as you get further and further into it, you're still left thinking, what the fuck is actually going on here? And it's this constant barrage through this one of body horror. This is a big thing.
What's the story?
So you take control of a pairing of brother and sister who are nameless as far as I'm aware so far. It's never been pointed out in the story anywhere. But who knows? That could be some hidden lore somewhere to find later on. You are going back to a horribly desolate island to rescue some friends. Of course, it's not easy because you're being hunted down by pretty much every monster known to man on that island. It is tense constantly. I mean, as I say, if you've played the Little Nightmares series, you know what it's like. Everything is dark. Everything is spooky. Every corner feels like it's got something lurking behind it. And every now and again, they'll surprise you, and there won't be for a change, because you'll get so used to just going around there and getting absolutely annihilated by claws or teeth or skin or whatever they feel like at the time. And so you will spend the game as a little co-op partnership, which you can play with a friend should you feel the need to have someone hold your hand, which I invariably do, not being the biggest horror game fan, as you all know.
I don't play horror.
Yeah, it's weird because I will happily watch a horror movie. I will read horror, but I don't tend to play horror games.
Yeah, I don't do.
It's something about being in control that freaks me out a bit.
I only read horror. I don't watch horror. I don't play. I watched my son play the first two Little Nightmares. Like, he got really into it. I think he got it on Game Pass or something at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, should you be playing this? And then I was like, and then I saw, and I watched it, and then his mum came in and was like, he fucking shouldn't be playing this. This is creepy. And
as you were trying to readjust, put that down. Yeah.
And it is blatantly creepy. But it's not that horror in those games.
It never fully pushes the line. Like, it kind of just always stays safe enough to not be full-on.
It's that sense of dread and foreboding constantly looking away on you.
That's the worst thing about it.
And the unknown, that is because it has got that nightmarish quality of, I don't understand. Like, everything's 100%. out of shape or oversized or undersized or.
Yeah, there's always that feeling of, although you're not like a borrower-sized character, there's always that feeling that everything is just that little bit too big, making you feel a little smaller. I would say this one does lean more heavily into the horror aspects, as I say, with the body horror that's going on. And you can see from the trailers, there's some pretty nightmarish imagery going on. But it, like you say, it does feel a little safer, weirdly. And having the co-op partner there, which you had in Little Nightmares 2 for a lot of the time. And obviously Little Nightmares 3, they developed separately. They lent into the co-op side of things. So, I'm treading carefully on spoilers here because it's one of those games I feel like you could easily give too much away without trying, and I don't really want to step on that for people because it is a short, intense experience, and I totally recommend that everyone go for it. You know, you can whip through this relatively in 6 to 8 hours, I would say, unless you want to go full completionist mode and then every corner. Hats stroke masks are back again. You know, it's their little signature thing.
So they've got some collectibles in it.
And
I played a couple of hours yesterday.
How did you find it so far, Chris?
I think you're spot on with what you're saying. I think Little Nightmares 1 to 2, I think 2 was much creepier, much darker. There's a lot more darker imagery. Whereas 3, which obviously wasn't by them, it didn't feel the same. It was obvious it was a different
back,
developer.
didn't it, comparatively?
Yeah, and this, like Mick said, it's almost Little Nightmares 4. It kind of is because it's kind of ramped it up. It ramped the horror element up. I think people that have kind of grown up with the series are going to be all right. I think kids that would have played Little Nightmares when it came out might struggle with this because what I've seen already is much darker, and not just like the not the bosses, but there's kind of like the Slender Man with a top hat, the kind of first guy.
Yeah.
But then there's like other stuff outside of that you can stumble across like by just exploring. It's really messed up things, and I think
without knowing how far you've got, I can always guarantee it gets a lot worse.
I can imagine.
So
I'm only kind of just past that bit, really.
They've not held back on the. I've never thought of the series as having. I say the series, obviously using Little Nightmares there, which strictly it isn't, but they've never really lent into the gore factor overly that I remember.
No.
Whereas
it's always
they are not afraid of viscera in this game.
They would always have something like shocking all of a sudden, like when Six eats the gnome in Little Nightmares, and it's like Jesus fucking Christ, where did that come from? Like I didn't expect that, and then afterwards, that's the image of it sort of stays with you, and it's like Jesus, that was really fucking messed up. Like that was really strange, and it does have that. But so is there exploration in this? Is there more free roam? Because what stopped me short on Little Nightmares, and I never played Little Nightmares 2, I just watched someone play it. But what annoyed me with the Little Nightmares was that it always felt like if you don't do this sequence the way you have to do it and time this right and make this jump, and you just die. And there was a lot of moments in Little Nightmares that felt like I didn't, like if I wasn't in complete control and an inch perfect, I was just going to die, and then I'd have to do that room again. And I
would say it's a little more loose than it was previously, but it is still a very linear experience. There are open areas of that wide linear where you can go and explore a given area and go into the corners and find odd imagery or a collectible or play around, but it is still quite directed and funneled. It wants you to proceed in a certain way, and it wants you to proceed at a certain pace a lot of the time as well. It's being the scaredy cat that I am, there'll be moments where things are getting a little bit much for me, and I will just try and run for the nearest light source. Look for it and you fucking peg it towards it, and you will pay for that at times. They know that's what they've done, and they've set things up so they'll be like, no, you will take your time, you will get scared of this is how it's gonna be. As I've said in the review for it as well, though, I think because of that, there are other moments that suffer. So you do get a bit of exploration using a boat, which are much wider areas to go around and get your engine on the go and go and have a look around so you can find. Some of those bits aren't as well signposted as the on-foot exploration is. And I found myself kind of looping back on myself at times and being like, where am I meant to be going here? Like, there's been a couple of bits like that do upset the pacing a touch. Not enough to be horrendous, but you kind of go, oh, this shows how tight and well directed the other parts have been. So it kind of shows itself up to a given degree. But yeah, I say it's hard to give you too much without dipping into spoilers, and it is something you need to experience, I think, to actually get that full effect. It's what, like where you've watched horror games being played either over someone's shoulder. I'm sure you've done it on YouTube playthroughs and Let's Plays. You need to experience this one. I don't think it would be enough just to go, oh, I've seen that, it's fine. I think you have to be in that moment with it for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a grand old time, as much as it could be for a guy who's not into horror games.
Sounds fun.
It's been spot on. Yeah, it's something I recommend. You would definitely enjoy, Mick, as far as it goes. I'm debating whether, like you said, I know you like the depth of lore. I wonder if how ambiguous that leaves certain things, whether that will leave you just disappointed or
I think the thing with Little Nightmares was I was fine not getting all the answers in the first game. Like I was fine with the questions that the first game left, because I was like, there's going to be more. Like, this is successful, there's going to be more. And then they did the second game and they answered nothing, and they just created more. They told you how she got her raincoat, which was
integral.
Yeah, which I couldn't give a shit about. I wanted to know what the geisha was and why Six did what she did and what the hunger was and all that really cool stuff, because there was all these fan theories. Me and my son like deep dived a lot of this, and we were like watching fan theories where, is Six actually the geisha, or is she the geisha's daughter, or is it like all this stuff, like what is the geisha? Is the geisha a real person, and Six is like an actual gnome, and this is there's loads of stuff.
Or is it all psychological?
Or is it all just actually a nightmare that some child is having, or is it, like, who's the hanging guy who's hung himself at the beginning of the game? Like, all that stuff was really interesting, and they just answered none of it. And I was like, if you're going to set it up and you want to leave it ambiguous, that's fine. That's your remit as a writer and a creator. But like, you left so much. Like, there was so much that just didn't answer any of it. And then they did the sequel and just didn't answer any of that either. And so by the time Little Nightmares 3 was announced, before I even knew it wasn't Tarsia, I was just like, I'm not interested. Like, you just
better fucking explain things. You're going to keep
bringing us along, and maybe that's the point, and I missed the point. But I like I said when we were talking about Romeo as a Dead Man, I like a story I can follow, I like a narrative that goes somewhere.
I do know they encourage multiple playthroughs with hidden bits and pieces in there too. I'm sure, like everyone probably does, and goes through your achievements list afterwards. There's stuff in there is hinting there is more to find if you want to delve deeper. So I can't definitively tell you how much of that is going to be answered, and probably wouldn't want to anyway.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I'm kind of down with the ambiguity to a given degree. I like the idea that you can fill in the cracks in your own head and make your own little stories to go along with it. Maybe not quite to like fanfic levels, but it's like, okay, this is what I think has gone through. And
as somebody who's written fanfic, I do like to fill in the gaps. But
was that the Jessica Rabbit one that you did, or
no one's supposed to know about that?
Okay, we'll keep that because only me and you know. No one heard it. It's fine.
It's really good.
Yeah, but that's Reanimal. Go give it a go.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on then. Yakuza Kiwami 3. Now, I know the Yakuza games are pretty fucking weird generally as well, actually. To the point where, again, I can't. I try to get... like, I played a lot of Like a Dragon. Doesn't like Yakuza mean like a dragon? Isn't that like a thing where if like the translation of Yakuza is like a dragon?
Is that hence the name change?
I'm sure that's a thing. But yeah, so again, Yakuza games. I played a lot of Like a Dragon. I've played none of the others, and the one I tried Infinite Wealth, couldn't do it. But this is Yakuza Kiwami 3, Chris. This is a remake, isn't it, or a re-release, or a re?
So yeah, so its full title is Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. So it's Kiwami means extreme, so it's like an extreme remake, which is quite a title to give something if it's just a remake. But
yeah,
it sets up some bold expectations.
Yeah. However, they're fully right to use that with this one. So if you're not into the series by now, then you're not going to get into it. But I think if people that have never experienced it and kind of want to, whereas like Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 were remakes and they did add a little bit, this takes a lot from Infinite Wealth's gameplay, not necessarily the turn-based because it's an action game, but some of the mini games, but also the presentation of conversation whilst playing. It's kind of gone, right, well, that really works in Infinite Wealth. We'll use that here. And they have completely remade it. It looks incredible. The combat, so in the original, Kiryu's got 4 different types of combat. And I've been back to play that after this because I'm like, oh man, I want to go back and play it. It's such a downgrade. It was great at the time, but now I've played this. So you've got 2 specific styles. You've got the dragon style, which is his signature style, which is everything. Because he's the dragon of Dejima. He's the badass. He's got a very that's kind of like your more powerful, good use for one-on-one fights.
Yeah.
And then, whereas all the other games up until this point have kind of just taken place in Kamurocho, this takes place in Okinawa as well, which is like the south of Japan. It's like a very sunny, by the beach, lovely place. But you take on a traditional Okinawa martial arts, I believe it's called Rikyu, and it utilizes weapons in the combat as well. So it's a lot faster. So you use 4 or 5 weapons, but you don't switch between the weapons. You've just, a light attack would include nunchucks. A strong attack would include this long paddle. I don't know what the names are, but
so it's automatically selecting them for you.
Automatically selects them as part of the combo buttons you've got.
Okay,
but it just feels a lot tighter, and it so it's very satisfying just being able to switch between 2, and then you can obviously level them up, become more powerful. They can become more powerful. You've got new moves. This whole kind of route towards being this ultimate kind of dragon of Dejima, but I think for those that are into the story up until this point, I think the story is excellent. And it also gives people that have kind of maybe missed, because a lot of people came into it with Kiwami, Yakuza 1 and 2 and 0, and then Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth were the turn-based ones. Then they released Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, which took place kind of at the tail end of Like a Dragon and before Infinite Wealth, where you Kiryu. And it shows you what he was going through.
Right.
But there's a scene in that which we talked about in the Game of the Year podcast. It's more me and Adam about the orphanage scene.
All the crying in that you were both
all
doing.
the crying in that, and it's because all these kids you've looked after are grown up. So you go back in Yakuza Kiwami 3. Okinawa is where the orphanage is, so that's where you decide to take a step back from all the fighting and gangs, warfare, and everything to look after these kids because you yourself was you were an orphan, so you want to give something back, and that's your adopted daughter from the first game. She's now a lot older. She's like 12, 13, 14. So you're basically running the orphanage together, and the plot involves the orphanage potentially being destroyed or knocked down, and it's quite
save kids basically.
Yeah, and it ends up involving different countries in this conspiracy. It's crazy, but the character building throughout the series has always been excellent, and not just Kiryu. We all know kind of what we're getting with him, but there's still room for growth. But it's the other characters. It's like the kind of the bad guys that you fight are just. One of them I absolutely hate. Such a vile human being, and it can be silly, but it's also incredibly dark and dramatic. And there's this one crime boss who was in prison for domestic violence, and that kind of. There's a scene where he does something really horrific, which makes you hate him even more. But then there's this other guy who's incredibly creepy, part of the family. And they all get time to breathe. But there's another character called Mine, and that's what Dark Ties is based on. So according to our RGG, Mine has always been kind of a fan favorite. Right. Now it's been absolutely years since I played 3, long time ago, so I can't really remember him. But he's in the main story, and if anyone's got it or planning on getting it, play through Yakuza Kiwami 3 first, because Dark Ties leads up to 3 and also kind of kind of correlate throughout, and they find their meeting point. So it's good to know what happens in the first game to that. It's not. It doesn't particularly do anything that different. It gives him a different kind of fighting style, which I didn't really get on with. But it does give you a brand new story, and it has been developed just for this kind of launch. So not only do you get this original remake, which is massively done, you've got this extra game. But for me, it's all about Yakuza Kiwami 3, the kind of the remake of the third game, which is great. And like, there's mini games, of course. There's absolutely loads of stuff. The orphanage. When you basically have to run, you do have to run the orphanage, and some of the things you have to do, you sew things for your kids. Now, in any world, sewing a tote bag in a game, you're like, well, that's going to be shit. But because it's Yakuza, it's like a racing game. You're like, your viewpoint is like his head and his hands on the table, guiding this fabric for a sewing machine. You have to keep within these lines, and you can speed up, you can slow down. You have to reach a certain time before it runs out. And then there's
sounds like you're playing Outrun here. Then
it does. It does look like it though. The kind of viewpoint. And then like you do like cooking like different loads of different meals, and you learn more meals for the different kids when they kind of open up to you and tell you their story. Like you end up cooking this food for this girl whose mother died, and that's how I kind of became part of this orphanage. And she tells you this recipe she used to make. So you'll do everything you can to make it the best recipe. So you have to go and fetch ingredients. You've got a garden in the back where you can grow different vegetables. You can change the fertilizer. You've got a scarecrow which makes like the vegetables better because no critters are getting on them. You've got a cow in the back. You've got chickens. There's like a bug game where you catch bugs. There's
did Suda make this one as well, or is this?
There's another thing which I was addicted to, and it's like helping with them with the homework. And you basically, this was an infinite world. You did like a college degree, obviously, of course you did, but you literally are helping them with like English. So there's like how to spell for certain words. There's maths equations. There's home economics. There's science, and you're answering multiple choice questions. It's insane. But
God forbid helping the kids. I'd need help helping the kids.
I did at times. So, like they show you a picture, like what's this? I was like, oh, it's a tuba, and they're like, no, it's a trumpet. I was like, oh, for God's sake! but there's loads of like that, but it never feels too much. Like you don't have to do it. It doesn't like necessarily change the outcome of any stories. It just fleshes it out. So if you're not that bothered about doing that, you don't have to. But I feel like the way the story goes, you genuinely start to care for the kids, so you kind of want to help them.
Well, you want to help with the homework, obviously.
You do. I'll spend at least half an hour doing every bit of homework for the kids. Then, like in Okinawa, there's your arcades are still there. You've got bowling. You've got all sorts. There's just so much. There's so much stuff. So if you want to jump in, this is a great time. If you've like kind of played Infinite Wealth, if you want to catch up on the story.
Is it going to be a big downside if you haven't played anything leading up into it? Because you haven't got that character backstory.
I personally think it's a great jumping in point. There's like a scene at the start where you're about to leave for Okinawa and you go to pay your respects at these graves, these gravestones.
Yeah.
And when you talk, not you talk to them because they're dead, but when you go and like. You go up to them and click on them. It allows you to recap the story from Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2. So you do
you're not just dropped in the deep end then. And
no, I mean it's a very basic like recap, but it's very clear who this girl is that you're with, how you ended up with her, what happened to your family leading up to this moment. So there's definitely thought about like for new people because there is quite a gap between Kiwami 2 and this. So. I feel like they have really thought about everything with this, and yeah, I know I love the Yakuza games, and I don't feel like I'm being kind of too much on them. I think that they're just a genuinely great game, really fun. So, if you're up for it, I mean, Mick, I know you. I can tell you it's the best game of the last 20 years, but no, it's great.
It sounds like the kind of game you could just lose yourself in for the rest of the year if you wanted to.
Yeah, Yeah,
just
I mean,
living in that world and taking on these little experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like there's a whole biker gang mission in Okinawa where you start your own. Well, you join this biker gang of these girls who are being like hunted down by this evil biker gang, and you end up recruiting people for it, training them up, and then going on to these missions, which is kind of like what happens in the one with Majima, the pirate.
Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Year. Yeah. So it's kind of taken all these things from the kind of newer games and putting it in the older game, which is a remake of an even older game, to bring it today. So yeah, I think if you're kind of getting into it over the last 5 or 6 years, I think you're going to enjoy it. And I don't think you're going to be lost with it, really.
It kind of strikes me how much I hear all these different things about the different Yakuza games, because I've never really clicked with any of them yet, and I'm gonna keep trying. One day I'm hoping it'll stick. But like when I heard that this was like the next game that they were releasing, when they've seemed to have bounced around all these like modern turn-based ones, and the Kiwami games were fucking ages ago now. Like it felt like when I read this that I was like, well, surely this isn't gonna feel like it's particularly connected to these newer games, or like it would be like, well, like if this one's a decade old, like what's really the point compared to the newer ones? So I'm kind of surprised to hear like literally the orphanage bit that I remember you and Adam talking about so much is like it's so intrinsically connected even in this remake, and that like kind of wild.
It's the story throughout the whole series is just insane. Like Kiryu's journey throughout is just it feels like The Godfather. Like it's so intricate and layered, and there's so much to it. And yeah, a lot happens, but the kind of core story is incredibly well written and kind of crafted. And I love the fact that whatever happens now after Infinite Wealth, they won't focus on Kiryu. It is kind of this. It will be Kasuga, the guy with the afro, the really cool like
Ichiban.
He is the new. Yeah, he is the new main protagonist, but you just can't let go of Kiryu, especially after the events of Infinite Wealth, where he's got terminal cancer. So you don't know where we're going with that. And if you've not played it, I won't ruin what happens.
Saves me playing that one now, Chris. Thanks.
Well, that was revealed in the trailer of the game that came out. But yeah, Yakuza Kiwami 3 is definitely worth it if you kind of want to jump in for the first time. And if you're a fan of the original, it's infinitely better.
See, I've tried. I have tried, and I said, I want to have a little bit of a chat about like weird games in general, because everyone's got a different metric for weird. Like I find the Yakuza games a little bit weird. Like and I know they do have like a backbone of a story. That, like you said, there's a lot of character building, and the world is quite intricate, and it's got its own rules that are quite well established. Like the way the way their gangster society, this version of Yakuza that you see in the games works, is quite not strict, but it has a through line. Like if you play all the games, like you get this big like grander world that's built. And I never was really interested, and then I played. Like a Dragon. I played Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I played about 25 hours of it. Like I didn't give up easily. Like I was enjoying the game to an extent, and I thought the combat was really cool. And then I found out that was the first one to have that kind of combat. The combat was because it's turn based, and it's really it's really fun, and like I said, it's so knowingly silly. And I think that there's a lot to be said for a game that knows that it's mental. Do you know what I mean? Like when the people behind the game know that they're throwing stuff in, and not everything's going to resonate with everybody, but there's so much in there that something will. Do you know what I mean? There's and this is what they do.
It's hedging your bets, isn't it?
And it's something that Suda 5-1 does, and Swery, to be honest. Like there's so much. Like they have an idea, it's going in the game, and there's never a sense of like personal restraint. That's what I find with some of these games. There's never a sense of like they had an idea and somebody in the room said, that doesn't fit. Let's back burner that idea. Let's put that there, and we'll put it in a different game later, or we'll come up with some DLC where this works as a thing. No, I've thought of it. It's going in the game, and I want it in the game, and it's my game. So you put it in the game. And it's like I said, we were having a chat about this earlier, and I said like with like Swery, for example, and the Deadly Premonition games. And Deadly Premonition, I played Deadly Premonition. Yeah, I know you really like them, so I'm not going to be mean, but I don't. And because I played the first one quite a lot. I think I did maybe a dozen hours. And a lot of the reason I kept going was I really like the protagonist. He's so weird and
he's
kooky.
A great protagonist.
He's a really
this is the one with the weird like Twin Peaks vibes, isn't
very
it?
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The first one, yeah, and the second one is less Twin Peaksy, but it's the character is just, and he's kind of like dozens of characters in a weird kind of way. It's like I just find him really interesting. It's like got this like otherness that is like just unique to him, and he's what put me through a lot of the first game. But where it falls apart, where Deadly Premonition, where the first one almost fell apart, and where the second one completely fell apart for me, was just the game design element is so like an afterthought. It's almost like I've just like, do you know what I mean? Like he's got all these ideas on post-it notes on a wall, and he's just throwing darts, and then he's got all these ideas, and he realizes that he's got no more post-it notes that don't have darts in them, and it's like, how do we make this into a game? Yeah, this is it. This is the story. Let's get it. And and it's like I said, he's you need a mode of transport. You're an FBI agent. Have a skateboard, not a car or a bike or a.
Sorry, you what?
It's a skate.
It's a skating game, Steve.
Oh,
yeah,
mate, I'm in there then. Let's
go.
It
is, and he just rides around the skateboard shooting squirrels because he doesn't like squirrels or whatever. I can't even remember the
fucking weird, man.
And I mean, I admit I dropped off of Deadly Premonition 2 inside of the first hour, maybe, but I know that a lot of people really, really dig these games, and I honestly think maybe the weirdness is what does it. Like, because they're so like earnest, there's such an earnestness to it. That's just like, oh, look what I made, and it's that sort of. Do you know what I mean? It's like when your kid comes 100%. Up with a picture. I do this, and it's like.
There is nothing about a sweary game where I'm playing it thinking like, God, I'm excited for that gameplay. No part of me thinks that. Like, I love these games, but like about half of your time playing the first Deadly Premonition, you'll be driving between places that are like 20 minutes apart and listening to conversations on films between your character and the voice in his head who doesn't speak. And that's, that's what you'll be doing. You can't help but be doing that. And when you're not doing that, you'll be walking around environments with your gun playing like, what if Resident Evil 4 moved at like 20% speed and wasn't very good? Like that's what that game is. It can't. Like,
is that
there's
a
no
20-minute real-time drive, Lyle?
Oh yeah, if you're going from one side, and there's no map, you have to open the map manually and plan out your route. There's nothing in the corner. You have to like. Think like you open the map, you look at where you're going to be going, you try and remember, I think I'll remember that after that particularly sharp left to take a right, but I might not, and I'll have to open up my menu and double check. And it's at the
that
same,
just sounds like a chore, man.
I mean, it is a chore, but you'll also be hearing about like facts about different Steven Spielberg movies that he wants to talk about, and the exact year that they were made, and the exact full names of the actors who are in it. And that's fine. You replace it in the sequel with skateboard trips, where you talk, again, just out loud to the voice in your head about the different bridges of the town you're in and the history of them. And that's just what you'll find out about. There's no way around it. But alongside these wild, not fun gameplay elements, because I love these games, but I'm not pretending that when I'm driving, skateboarding, or shooting in them, I'm like loving it. But the bits that I'm loving are you get somewhere and you get to have conversations with people, and there's an old woman holding a pot who just says, my pot is getting cold, and never explains it unless you do like an arduous 10-part side quest that's entirely optional and only shows up at a certain time of the day if you're like on the right chapter, maybe. And
Did you do that, Lyle?
of course I did. I'm a
it worth
true
the payoff?
fan. Everything's worth the payoff. It's worth the 20-minute drives with no map.
You're gonna have to work hard to convince me on that one, man.
Yeah, I don't think they're for everyone.
I get it though. Like I do. And again, it's like I said earlier about like sometimes it's about fun. Like a games should be about fun. And you get that more from silly games than you do from obviously serious games because that comes with the territory. But then you've got like like did you play A Good Life? Did any of you play A Good Life? Sweary's game.
I didn't know.
Or is it
Yeah,
not
I
is it
reviewed
A Good
it.
or just Good Life? You reviewed
Yeah,
it, Chris.
you did.
Yeah, see that is like that's another. I mean, I know like sweary, but that's like fucking weird, man. Like the whole concept of the game. Like I've only seen.
Why is it chosen like an English countryside?
Yeah, is it like is it Wales or is it England or is it like Northern? I know because it's got. But it's designed. It's built in a way where somebody's looked at pictures of England and then gone.
That was it. That was all the reference he needed.
Job done.
Like he's got a postcard and he's gone. Just make a game set there, and then what would they ride as a mount in England? They like sheep.
They probably do, right? That was the first time you saw a picture of them. I was like, that's rideable.
I presume they have sheep in Japan. I don't know. Do they have Japanese sheep? Are they indigenous to England and Wales?
I would
and
guess
New
so.
Zealand. It's so strange. But did you enjoy it, Chris? I don't remember the review. A while ago.
I thought it was it was good. It was good. It wasn't as like crazy as Deadly Premonition or as kind of enjoyable, but it was fun. From what I remember.
It was fucking ages ago, wasn't it? Like
It was a while ago, wasn't it? I always remember more the chats around it than the actual game because it's not something that ever caught my interest. And obviously, like the reason that I knew anything about it was because the artwork for the game depicts this smiling, like blonde character, and I think she's holding a sheep in the picture, and it's like A Good Life, and it looks like a cozy farming sim. Like that's what it looks like. It looks like it's going to be. Like
I'm guessing it's going to upset you if that's your expectation then.
Well, yeah, because it looks like then it turns it into it's like a rural murder mystery type thing and it's just like, okay, then this is what we're doing, and I know there's a lot to be said for that kind of like I don't like saying auteurism, but that's what it is. Like there's a lot to be said for that kind of. I've got an artistic vision, and I'm going to stick with it. And this is the game I'm making, and like, but that's only kind of one kind of weird because, like I said, weird is kind of it's very dependent on the individual. Like what one person finds weird, another person like people would find it weird that I enjoy just playing Diablo for hours on end when it's just really a monotonous click and collect game. That's all I'm doing is literally click. Like there's not even a different. If you play it with a mouse and keyboard, you don't even have to like memorize many buttons or actions. You just move and click and move and click, but it's really relaxing for me. So that's not weird. But people would find it weird, maybe, that I enjoy it.
I think a lot of things can seem that way until you delve into it for any amount of time yourself, and then it just becomes normality, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like last year we had. I know Lyle, you probably out of everybody on the site, you probably play more weird, what I would call weird.
I try my best,
than most people, and like because I know, and like I quite often see now, like a code will come in, and it tends to be you or Kieran that will like jump on it, and I always, without fail, look at these games and go, "Fucking rather you than me," and then like they come up with like a 7 or an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on the review, and I look into it further, and because that's what we do, and I see that a lot of people really like it, and I just sit there feeling fucking bewildered. And I think like last year the one of the ones that really stuck out at me was Date Everything, which was just which is such a completely different type of weird than you would get from a Suda or a Swery or a Kojima. And I'm just listing Japanese developers, but or like Sam Lake. You know, Sam Lake has that element of like the Alan Wake games and things. He's got that element of this is the game I want to make, and you will play my version of it.
It'll have a musical and you'll like it.
Yeah, but I kind of don't mind shit like that because it's like I lean more towards like the Alan Wake control stuff because that's got that's my brand of weirdness. It's I like creepy weird. I don't like horror, but I like creepy weird or sci-fi weird as opposed to silly weird. Or that particular brand of Japanese weird that is like very quintessentially like
quite often they'll skirt on both of those things as well, though, won't they? Like Kojima's prime for that kind of stuff, where you get a level of take it serious weird, and then suddenly some random funny bullshit will happen from nowhere that seems completely tonally different from everything else.
Oh, the tonal shifts this is another thing.
It's like slamming the brakes on, so I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
I'm happy with a game that gets progressively weirder, or I'm happy with a game that gets like something like Control, where it starts off with intrigue and you don't really know what's going on, and then it steadily just builds to be weirder and weirder and creepier and creepier. That's my brand of weird. Like I'll play that. It's an SCP style thing. Like I love all that stuff that makes me think and is also strange and unusual. That X-Filesy stuff. But
I heard more on that stuff as well, like you do, rather than just silly weirdness or just
because
rather than dating your toaster.
Well, exactly. But I did try Date Everything, and it is funny, and I do get the appeal of a game like that. But like I can't play a game that's like a Kojima. Like I played Death Stranding and I really liked it. Like I really enjoyed it. And I played Death Stranding 2 and I haven't got that far into it because I just haven't had the time. I like that stuff. But where they start to lose me is where they just suddenly go they just take a right turn into Kojima's head. And I'm just like, I don't understand now. Like, why am I doing this? What's this thing with the pizza guy you have to fight, or the dude with the guitar and that? And I just like, I like, man, God bless you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're doing your thing and everybody likes it. I don't get it, and it just loses me. And I'm just like, this is now, it's just absurd. And then I feel like I've got a stick up my ass saying that because I'm sitting here playing a video game, complaining it's absurd. But I do get to that point where I'm kind of like, you could rein it in a little bit. Where's do you know what I mean? Where's the context? It's just gone, and now we're weird. And then we go back, and Kojima does this thing where he goes there, and then he just comes right back again. And it's just, I'm just plodding along through the countryside again, wondering what
back to serious mode.
What just happened for half an hour.
I guess that also there's a thing here whereby as gamers, we're kind of a little niche part of society that is seen as weird by a lot of people.
And we certainly used to be when we were a lot younger on top of that. Like, it's less niche now, but we've all been around when it has been more niche, you know?
But I think it still is to a given degree. But then even within the group that we are, these weirder and more niche games have become more and more popular. You know, lots of people know who Suda51 is now. Whereas back, you know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, that would have been a much smaller fan base. And that is growing more and more. And people are adapting to the weirdness and going, okay, this is fine. This is just what we get nowadays. I know.
Yeah, and it's kind of wild as well, because you think about it and you think like, well, if it's a weird game, there'll be like one of them. And then like I'm here reviewing the 5th Katamari game, like, well, shit, okay, there's fucking loads of them. It's about rolling a ball around until it's big enough that you get planets on it. And you'd think that would be pretty niche, but, you know, not niche enough, apparently, you know?
A lot of people would find it weird with things like Power Wash Sim, that you could happily sit and just, like you, Mick, with the single button.
Yeah, Lyle doesn't get that.
Yeah. So you find that weird in of itself, whereas, you know, I could quite happily sit for a couple of hours holding a button, moving up and down and just cleaning something for a sense of satisfaction. Surely that's kind of weird.
I tell you what it is, right? And this is like, and it does in a way kind of single Lyle out in the group of the rest of us that would play a Power Wash game, which is used to being singled out by us.
Yeah, that's my role.
But generally speaking, like Lyle, you don't have kids. Do you know what I mean? You don't have that. So like,
Generally speaking, don't have kids.
No,
Yes.
that was a weird way of phrasing that. But no, like you don't have kids, and your 9 to 5 is very different from our 9 to 5s. Like you're a carer is what you basically like you do a lot of the time, and it's like it's a different. So like Power Wash is a game that is like the reason something like Power Wash appeals to me, and it is fucking weird, is because it's a monotonous routine job where there's a great satisfaction in cleaning stuff when you've had small children for any length of time in your life.
Yeah.
There's a great satisfaction to having a mess that is dead easy to clean up, right? And I think like that's one of those things, and it is strange. Like my kids have come through when I'm playing Power Wash, and they've just been like, "What are you doing, Dad?" Like,
what's wrong?
Yeah,
with you?
like you were playing Dark Souls earlier. What are you doing now? And it's like, this is why I'm doing this, because I need this now after Dark Souls for several hours. I need something that's just, and like
I'll swap you for when the wife walks in when you're playing it. She stands and stares at you silently for a minute, and then stares at the patio outside.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
you look at the search history.
I'll turn
later.
this off now, then, shall I?
Yeah.
I'll go and do some washing up.
Note to self: check his history, because something's weird with this. But it's true, and like Kieran's a big one for like these dad games, which they are. They're kind of like kind of dad games, and I know Kieran's like is a big like proponent of these. And I just
things like House Flipper and stuff as well.
Yeah, but then I spent hours in House Flipper. Like I thought
that was pretty good, to be fair.
The thing is, it's like I don't do DIY in this house. Like I'm pretty useless with anything really, and like, but I'll spend hours on House Flipper, like mending shelves and putting doors in and knocking walls down. And
I think it's partly because you don't have to go and get the associated paraphernalia out of the shed, get it all there. Can't find the right fucking Phillips screwdriver head, and then drive yourself slowly mental. Here, you just go click, click, done. Yay, job done. Love it.
Maybe it's that.
Is there a niche where they could make games where it's the real life version of that, where you have to rummage through the drawers for the right things and then take a 20-minute drive to B&Q to get a different one if you need?
I wonder if that exists. I wonder if there's like DIY sim where you have to do that. I've got to go to the hardware store. Yeah. Now I've got to walk around the hardware store and buy the right size nail. And if it's the wrong nail, I've got to drive back to the hardware store.
Might be Sweary's new game, you never know.
Yeah. In real time while running over groundhogs or whatever.
The sad part is I'd probably play that as well.
I'd give it a go.
Sure.
But I know like games are inherently, and we'll wrap it up soon, but like I know games are like inherently absurd. Like the whole concept behind video games when you're in them is absurd. Like it doesn't matter how realistic the game is. Take something like The Last of Us, which is like an incredibly like harrowing and emotional story. It's got the world itself looks kind of photo real. It's gorgeous. It's got great physics. Like there's in Last of Us 2, there's the bit with like the wire that you have to connect.
Did you spend like 15 minutes just trying to drag it over things just because you could?
Because the physics is just absolute, and it's like that level. But then at the same time, you can, as a 15-year-old girl or a 19-year-old girl, however old Ellie is, you can basically jury rig a pistol at a workbench to make it do, or like you can, like she can just make explosives, or like you can just carry infinite, like not infinite, but like you've got a baseball bat somewhere about your person and you can switch it on a weapon wheel. So like games have this like innate absurdity anyway. And the weird thing about it is, I don't know whether you guys ever read any like lit RPG stuff, which is it's quite a big thing now, literary RPG. And basically it's a book. Dungeon Crawler Carl is one of the most famous like recent examples of this, which is why everyone's kind of doing lit RPG now more than they were before. What a lit RPG is basically the main character begins, and it's like a game, the main character begins the story with nothing, like Dungeon Crawler Carl. He gets dropped, like the world ends, he's told that if he wants to save his, like if he wants to like survive the apocalypse, he needs to go into this world dungeon and then he needs to make it to level 19 or whatever, and then if he beats the boss, he can be allocated a place to live.
So
in the
it's literally a real life game.
Exactly, but to the point where these books have, at the end of the book, there'll be like a stat tracker, and you'll see how he leveled up and what he earned and what he's got now and what he's going into the next book with. And like I've read a couple of them, they all do it quite differently. And it's like Jumanji in a way. If you've seen like the recent Jumanji, where they suddenly go, "I've got 3 lives on my hand," and like when you transpose any video game stuff to, and the reason I can't get into lit RPGs is because for me it's such a disconnect, because whenever you try and put this, like, video game logic only works in video games. And lit RPGs are very successful, and people do a very good job of them, and they've got a lot of fans, and I can't knock it because it's a big genre now. But like that fucking weirdness is so like innate in video games. Like it's such a thing where we don't even question it. We don't even question how realistic a game like a GTA 5. For example, you've got this living, breathing city. It's amazing. You go in, it immerses you, and you talk to your friends about it, and you have podcasts and you chat, and you say, "God, it's so realistic how you can do this," and like the physics are so. And at the back of it all, you're pulling rocket launchers out of your ass pocket and all this sort of stuff that's just naturally weird, and it doesn't. I never feel like it ever translates into any other medium because it's like quintessentially absurd that it only really works in the context of video games. As soon as you put it in any real world, like Free Guy, that Ryan Reynolds film, or anything, or Tron,
fucking hated that
movie. The
movie.
concept of Tron is like, oh, it's a game. He's in it. There aren't little fucking people living in your computer. That's not how it works. It's so fucking stupid. And
don't ruin the illusion.
But yet, that's how they make it work. And if you were playing a game, you wouldn't question it. It wouldn't even be it's just weird because that's a game, and you don't even think of it as weird. So like to make a weird game, like to make a game that is weird to us as gamers, you have to really be fucking weird. Because like my wife would walk in or would sit and watch me play something or whatever, and to her it would just be incomprehensible nonsense. Like just. Where did you just pull that sword from? How did you get hit with that and not die? How have you literally just been shot 8 times and then crouched behind a barrel and you've just healed from it? How does any of that work? And I'm just going, what are you on about? That's normal. That's
just games.
So like in order to make a game weird, you have to do something like a Swery or a Suda or a Katamari or like a Katamari game or Kojima. You've got to be weird deliberately, and you've got to commit to it.
But also, the great conclusion to this conversation is that every game is actually weird, so don't worry about it. We're all playing weird games no matter what.
That's right. Every single game really is weird. Like all of them. There's no such thing as an unweird game. Do you know what? I think we just had an epiphany there.
Beautiful moment.
We've all learned something and grown.
I'm quite impressed with it. That was quite deep. Weird games are the friends you made along the way.
They are. It's true.
But yeah, on Lyle's incredibly deep and thought-provoking note, I think we can call that a podcast. I'm eating grapes because I'm hungry now. It's late.
Something to ponder. Something for everyone to ponder over the week.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to say, comment down below on your weirdest games. If this thing's on and it's getting through to anybody out there in the world who watches our videos, drop us a comment. Tell us what's your favorite weird game or what you constitute as a weird game.
I've probably played it.
Lyle will definitely have played it.
I was probably giving it a 9.
I'll have probably watched a trailer for it with a look of mild disgust on my face, and then checked Lyle's review and gone, "Oh, it's apparently quite good."
Oh, it's a 9. Great.
Yeah. Shit, do I have to play this for GOTY season now? Because I really hope not. But yeah. So thank you for watching. Like I say every time, this goes out on a Monday. You can go and watch it then. If you want to see a bonus pod that we do for the Patreons, or if you want to get in our Discord, go to Patreon. follow us. It doesn't cost you much. We don't ask a lot, but you get to come and hang out with us on Discord. You get to have a chat. We talk about everything, games, movies. We have the Fantasy League on there for Metacritic and all sorts of stuff that goes on. And then you get a bonus pod on a Wednesday, which is usually something silly, something where we're just like, this wasn't silly, but where you get something silly where we're just like, you know, maybe we do a quiz or you know, we talk about a specific topic or whatever. But we appreciate it if you do that. It means a lot to us. But in the meantime, I've been Mick Fraser. He's been Steve Chambers. He's been Lyle Pendle. And he's been Chris White. And you guys have been lovely. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.